Hey, this is going to be Wednesday, September 17th, and this is just my advanced class, which means we have Audrey at home. Audrey, hey.
Hi, Audrey.
I know. We had a kid that was crashing out right here. There's cookies on your desk at this... Never mind, they're not anymore. She just moved the cookies from your desk.
I ate mine.
But, oh, over there. Poop it, dude.
What happened?
I left things on the ground. Audrey. There are two stories you're going to want to get that are on canvas. One that's called Charles, it's not going to look this color, and then one called The Black Cat, which is going to be that color, and you're going to want these for the thing we're going to be doing. All right, so there. And this might be a really long video because I'll be recording like the entire class because we're doing a lot of fun stuff. And it might even go partly into flex, so we'll see what happens from there. Hang on, kids raising their hand at me. I'm ignoring you for a moment. Tomorrow's quiz, and by tomorrow I mean Friday, just tomorrow means the next day you see me, we have a quiz, which is going to be covering a couple different things. The story we read today about the Black Cat, which you will absolutely remember because it is a memorable story. And then one about Charles, about a kid who hates school, which you are definitely going to enjoy also. And then also on Friday, we have a library visit where we're going to be going over there and they're going to be talking about the book fair. It won't be super long, but we'll get some time over there. And unfortunately, Aubrey won't get a chance to see it, but you are going to be dancing for points, although Aubrey sent me a video of her dancing for points, which...
Audrey.
I keep saying Aubrey, don't I? Audrey, I apologize. I just had multiple Aubreys in my last class, so getting my brain to shift from saying the buh to the duh, sometimes like my old person ears go and it just don't work. So Audrey, I apologize. We will be dancing for points, and I did like the video that she sent me. All right. So for you guys, see the two stories in front of you. One of them is much longer than the other. They're both 2 pages, but if you look at the little fonty bits, you are reading the shorter one that is the yellower one on your own. The one that is tanner is the one I am reading to you because that is the longer one we're doing today. Charles is quick and short and easy to help you out. Almost, still going to ignore you just a little bit longer until you pass out. To help you with this, I'm going to do a couple things. Your English grade is almost entirely based off of quiz scores. Your homework in my class is only like 25% of your total grade, which is not a whole lot. Almost all of your grade comes from the quizzes. We've only had 2 so far. So if you botched one of those quizzes, it dropped your grade. The quiz we have coming up this week is not one where you get to work with anyone else. It is an actual, real quiz. This is not one that's over my class. This is not one where you work with other people. You do get to use Google, but I write my own quizzes. I Google my own questions. I know what shows up when you Google them. And the answer is not the answers. But you're welcome to use Google if you want. You can use your handouts. Here's what I'm going to do to help you. On Canvas, there are now 2 buttons here to help you out. One button is the video of the Charles video being read, and I created BroviCast for it. The other one is a review guide. The review guide is the questions to the quiz early. I'm going to give you all of the questions for the quiz ahead of time. Isn't that cheating? Yes, I'm helping you cheat because I care and my heart is the size of a walnut. So if you go on there and you go clicky clicky, I will show you what it looks like and you can see all of them. Can we write out the answers? Yes. Can we bring in the answers? Yes. That's why I'm giving this to you. This is me trying to be nice to you. We'll see what happens. Also, with the video that's on here, I created the pictures, but they're not my normal BroviCast. I have a side job business thing I do where I have a membership to like an AI digital art thing. And so I use my AI digital art because I can't draw, shocker, but I can use AI art and create things. And so I try to create little illustrations as you go through the story. And so they're little AI illustrations of stuff. And so I created all of these. They sort of match exactly to the story. That's what it looks like. If you do the review guide, that's the review guide. Look, it's the questions. So that's me trying to help you out as best I can. Cookin', what's up? Sydney, what's up?
Okay, 2 things.
Yes.
First of all, I read like 1.5 of these stories. And second of all, somehow I have a 144% in your class.
Weird. I can check it during flex. There's every chance it might be a mistypey thing and it'll eventually get fixed, or maybe you're just really smart. We'll find out. Tegan.
Okay, so this Black Cat story, it's written by Edgar Allan. That's the really depressing the poem. So
Yeah. Oh, you should be. Hey, Rudy.
Can I get a pillow? Ice cream. Chocolate ice
Put
cream.
your phone over there. Sure.
Wait, hold on.
Hi,
Are you
Keeper.
sure?
It's you.
I read like the tiniest.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that.
Black Cat.
Yeah, that was a poor choice, wasn't it?
A little concerned.
Yeah, it's gonna get even worse. Don't you wait.
Yay!
So, we're gonna do the dancing here in a moment. So far, Rudy has done his dancing and he's already gotten his points. We're gonna do a quick practicing of it just to make sure it's still in your brain, and then we'll take our new volunteers, and then we're gonna get to our learning for today. What I will do is just go through and do pointy thing, and you do wordy bit, dancy bit. Wordy bit, dancy bit. You don't have to look at your notebook, that's why your notebook's not out. Alright, ready? Let's see how it goes. We have
Characters. Who is in the story? Setting. When and where? Plot. What happens? Point of view. How we see the story.
And I had a kid tell me that for this one, if you want, sometimes when you're putting your glasses on, they drop a lot and you have to run around to pick them up. So if you feel the need to run around and pick up your glasses to put them on, I completely understand.
Internal conflict.
That got a little quieter.
External conflict. Something.
All right, Audrey, we're going to pause for a moment. You have no need to listen to these skits cry, and then we'll come back to you. If you want, if you are friends with the Globetrotters for Stars, 1, shame on you. 2, if you teach this to a Globetrotter or Star, and you can have them come and do it in front of me, you get 5 B points for each kid. And then what they get is they get a shiny monkey treat. Now, they can come to me like passing periods in the morning, stuff like that. They have to do it without you helping them, so you can't stand in front of them going, they have to be able to be all big and strong and brave on their own. And then if you work with someone, you don't both get 5 points. You split the 5 points. Because you can't have the entire class bring a kid in and go, we all taught this kid, we get 5. That's not the way it works. You would split that 5 points among all of you and get like 0.2 apiece. So you're going to have to figure that out or slap your leg at me. But that says, for how many times can you do it? As many friends as you have. So some of you are already out of luck. Tegan?
So basically, but how do you split 5 points? We both get 2.5?
I would probably round up to 3.
So we both get 3? Okay.
Sydney.
That's a great deal.
Mrs. Frost says she has beef with you because you taught this wrong.
We're going to get to it now. This is beefing time. We're going to talk about beefy time. Colton.
Can I call Noah Ting so Gabe can't take him?
No, because I have no idea who the kid is. Okay. So, on pink sheet, we're going to get to this bottom part that's on pink sheet down here. And so there's 7 words on there left. I hate doing this. We are going to do 6 of the 7 words. We are saving irony for next week. So we're going to do the other ones.
Who's wrong?
So, I'm proud of you. I'm still not doing it this week.
Wait, did you unpause it?
I did, but thank you. We're good. Audrey's listening to me. So, if you're familiar with the... Wait, are you guys familiar with short story, not anything?
Yeah.
So then, do we know what this first part's called?
Inside incidents.
And then?
Resolution.
Or, that would also work. So, on yours, I'm going to give you short definitions. These are long definitions. You can write those. I wouldn't because they're boring. I have better definitions for you. But I'm going to explain to you what they are if you've never learned them before. If you know what they are, then you should be good to go and be able to write them down. So, expo. If you're unfamiliar with it, the idea is the purple is supposed to be how interesting a story is. Not very interesting, getting super interesting, oh my god, that's interesting, losing interest, boring ending. And so it's like, how much interest is in the story? For exposition, it is your dialogue and narration that sets up the story by introducing the characters and their situations. What part of this mountain does exposition happen in?
Start.
Very beginning. How interesting is this beginning part?
Boring.
So we're going to call it boring beginning stuff.
Wow.
Because in every story, the exposition is at the very beginning, and it's where you're just introducing stuff, so it's going to be a little on the boring side. That's why Mrs. Thrush has beef with me, and we keep yelling at each other, is because she keeps trying to say that's not the definition of exposition, and my response is, really? What part of the story does it happen in? The beginning. Does anything interesting happen in it? No, not. So it's boring at the beginning, right? Yes, but exactly. So just because you don't like a definition doesn't make it not the right definition. Wow. Then, rising action. The events in the story that lead to a big turning point. This is where the story gets interesting. When all of a sudden you're like, ooh, Mrs. Fresh and Brodiak have beef. I wonder if we're going to get in a fight. And it turned out today at lunch we did. And she kicked me in the shins. And I said, no you don't! So I karate chopped her right in her throat and dropped her to the ground. And the kids were like, oh my god, there's a fight in the team! This is the exciting stuff. When the kids get super interested in what's going on, and all of a sudden the teachers are yelling at each other about short story mountains, and the kids get confused. The events in the story that lead to a big turning point, the exciting stuff. And then the climax, the moment of greatest intensity in the story. Mr. Brodiak gets so fed up with Mrs. Frush's trash talking that all of a sudden I picked up a table right there in the middle of the lunchroom and I said, no! And I smashed it over the top of her head like a wrestler, and the crowd went wild and they said, take that, English comp teacher! And the whole crowd went, oh my god! Because your climax is your major OMG moment. When your teacher smashes a table over another teacher's head and goes full WWE on him. Major OMG moment. Then we get to falling action, the part of the plot where the story begins to draw to a close. And this is when you have your crazed English teacher who's panting over a dead teacher laying in the middle of the lunchroom with a table broken into little pieces, and he starts yelling at all the kids out there, hey, this is why you need to learn so I don't have to beat you at the table. In other words, is where I'm explaining the OMG and why it happened. So your falling action is your OMG explain. And then finally we get to resolution, the point at the end of the story in which the conflict is resolved. And here's where you guys have a new teacher because your old teacher is now in jail because apparently they frown on him beating another woman with a desk in the middle of an entire lunchroom, and they frown on him. So this is at the end, and it's kind of boring. So this is your boring ending stuff. So your whole mountain goes, boring beginning stuff, exciting stuff, Ermagerd explain, boring ending stuff.
What do you mean by beating another woman?
Listen, don't judge. What's up? Did you have a question?
Yeah, mine was different.
Because you wrote down the long definitions? Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to make fun of you until you brought it up, but I'm glad you did.
Wait, what? What'd she say?
She wrote down all of the super long definitions. I don't know. She's special. Hi, Tegan.
No one says OMG anymore.
I just did.
You probably
Outdated.
I don't say OMG either. I say Ermagerd.
Hey, Tegan.
EHRMAGHERD. Ermagerd.
Outdated. Hey, Tegan.
It's like I'm living in 2023 up in here.
Yeah,
So to help you out again, boring beginning stuff is called. And then things get interesting is called. And then Ermagerd. Ermagerd explain. And then boring again. So we're going to give you a small test. That one's easy. I put those in order. You guys don't need the easy test. We're going to give you the more challenging test because you guys are supposedly smart kids. So instead of fisherman, let's go to Lady and the Tiger. I will read them to you. Wait, what's the first thing in the mountain? So all you're going to do is, as I'm reading, figure out which one you think is exposition, and at the end, I will point to them, and you will raise your hand when I get to the exposition one. The princess discovers what is behind each door, and then decides which one to point to for the boy. The girl is caught saying love to the gardener's son, and he is put on trial using the two doors. We find out that the two characters love each other. We are robbed of this in the story because it ends suddenly. And the gardener's son walks over to the right-hand door, opens it, and we don't get to find out what is there. So you have no need to raise your hand yet. I haven't pointed anything. So what you're going to do is figure out which one you think is exposition. And when I point to it, that's when you're going to raise your hand. So now I'm just making sure you're giving me sparkle eye, which means that you know what you're doing. Okay, you have sparkly eyes? Huh?
Climb.
Okay.
Wait, did he say climb?
What comes after exposition?
Yeah.
Okay. Find the one you think is rising action. Huh?
Wow.
Wait. Huh?
Yes.
Agree. What comes after rising action?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. I was looking at the last question.
Huh? Oh, we're at 2. Hang on, we'll find it. You're right.
What is this?
Oh, apparently we changed our mind. I would agree. After climax is?
Falling action.
Took us a moment. All right, you only have 2 to choose from. And that makes this one? I do like how I said, and what does that make this one? And you all raised your hand.
Resolution.
I will try. Oh. Well done. That's where our resolution is. This will be part of quiz. When it comes to it, I expect you to know exposition, boring beginning stuff. You should know resolution. It's whatever happens at the very end of the story. I'll probably always ignore falling action. It's kind of confusing. And then between rising action and climax, it depends on how big of a moment. Some stories have bigger climaxes than others. Hi, Tegan.
No, go back.
No.
Why is that blue?
One blue, just to drive you nuts. It's great, isn't it? Right
Use your eyes.
Nothing's blue.
Right above exposition is our last word we're going to define before we get to our fun stuff for today, which is the word foreshadowing.
I know.
Rumor is, some of you know what foreshadowing is. All right, Clayton.
Foreshadowing is like the events that like lead up or like make something else happen. Like leads up
Rising action.
It feels like you nailed it. But just to make sure, we're going to double check and have Audrey give me another definition to see if hers matches up.
Me?
No, that. Oh, wait, no.
Foreshadowing is like when they like they point to stuff that's gonna happen later in the book and like make it see like.
That's
like,
another form of Claytonese so far.
No, I got
Okay.
this. Okay, so if you read the book 2 times, you're like, oh, this is they're pointing to this is gonna happen later in the book. Like, you know, like when they point to it in the rising action, and it happens in like the falling action or the climax.
There's a lot of words you threw out there. Adlo?
Clues in the story that tells you what's gonna happen.
Good job.
Someone has this copied down because they went to.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The reason she has all of them down is she is psychic and can read the future. Clues in the story to help you figure out the end is what foreshadowing is. So if you're not sure, or if you don't want to write down the 400-word essay that Clayton and Audrey gave you, I'm going to go with clues in the story to help figure out the end.
Wow.
So if you remember, there was this story we read called Lady and the Tiger. And you guys remember that story?
No.
Liars. We only read 3 stories. Of course you remember that one.
Wait, what? Only 3?
Oh, so you do know we've only read 2 stories. So you do remember this one. So I can make fun of you. Oh, that was fun. No, Mr. Broviak, you caught us. So you remember how the Lady and the Tiger ended?
We haven't read any stories.
Wait, wasn't the? Oh wait.
I know we read the story.
That's in Miss Boots' class.
No, you read it in here. Because I read it with you, and it was about a princess and a gardener's son, and I showed you a whole bunch of
Lady
stuff.
and the Tiger.
Yep, that's what I just said. What did I say?
You
the
said
tiger?
a princess and a gardener's son. Whatever that is. That's not.
What's a princess?
Anyway, with that story and how it ended, if you remember how it ended, and I told you we would never read another story like that again, we're not going to. Today's story is going to be different. This one definitely has an ending to it. But
everyone
before we
die?
get to the ending, there are going to be a whole bunch of clues to help you figure out what happens before we get there. That's where our foreshadowing is going to come in. Even before we get to the end, you're going to start getting these ideas of what's occurring. Sydney,
Can I know how the fidget things?
in a moment, when you put something on my desk and tell me what it is, I can try to help you out. Cooking.
Can I give an example of foreshadowing?
Sure, Cooking.
Like, if I smash someone's goldfish in this room, that's foreshadowing me going to a principal's office or getting IS.
You're on the right track. That's more just a cause and effect.
Ah, that's foreshadowing.
Why? What's going to happen?
Because I can lose points or he.
That's foreshadowing. Good job, Cooking. So that's our example from that one. So here's the story we're going to take a look at. This one is called The Black Cat by Edgar Allan Poe. It's a bit on the longer side, so I'm going to try to get through it as quickly and best as we can. I will tell you, there is some parts in here that are going to be a little bit on the disturbing side because it's an Edgar Allan Poe story. There are definitely going to be some people who don't make it all the way to the end of the story.
Are you
Hoping that doesn't bother you too much. Hi, Colton. Again, I'm old, not blind. I see you. It's called ignoring you. And then when you keep yelling at me, I just continue to ignore you. Hi, Mama Colton, when you watch this later.
My mom was not watching it.
She will be when I email
Why
her.
are you talking about?
Hey, Colton, what's up?
Can I try this in for something else?
No. Back to our story. The Black Cat. So as we get into it, I'm going to have you figuring out point of view, who the characters are, and then where it's taking place and stuff like that. I'll take a pause as we get partway into the story, and then we can deal with your guys' issues and stuff like that here in a second. I'm going to try to get farther into the story before you freak out. For the most wild. Oh, for this one, I have my normal Brovi art to try to entertain. For this most wild and yet most unpleasant story, which I am about to write, I neither expect nor ask for belief. Crazy indeed would I be to expect it, in a case where my very senses reject their own evidence. Yet insane I am not, and yet surely did I not dream it. But tomorrow I die, and today I would unburden my soul. 2 quick questions. What's our point of view?
First.
How do you know?
Bye.
Because it says I. And what do we know is going to happen to the character? He dies. So he is telling you the story before he dies tomorrow, which is an example of
Foreshadowing.
nicely done. Also, the story he's getting ready to tell you, is it a normal story?
No.
Yeah. Says he knows this story is absolutely bonkers and crazy, but it happened to him and it's going to lead to his death. Since I was a baby, I was noted for the happiness and humanity of my personality. My tenderness of heart was even so obvious as to make me the butt of my friends' jokes. I was especially fond of animals and was indulged by my parents with a great variety of pets. With these, I spent most of my time and never was so happy as when feeding and petting them. The oddity of character grew with my growth, and in my adulthood, I derived from it one of my major sources of pleasure. To those who have cherished affection for a faithful and friendly dog, I need hardly be at the trouble of explaining the nature or the intensity of the satisfaction I had. Quick pause. So one, Edgar Allan Poe, he, if you don't know who he is, lived like 150 years ago. He wrote really good stories, but they're really dense. I mean, there's a lot of stuff packed into it. Sometimes it gets confusing, so I pause a bit more often to make sure you're following. That whole paragraph telling you one thing. What big thing about his personality do we know?
He likes
There you go. He loves pets so much to the point his friends would make fun of him. He was like that kind-hearted people that people would harass about it. That's how much of a pet lover he was. I married early in my life and was happy to find in my wife an attitude not unlike my own. Observing my soft spot for domestic pets, she lost no opportunity of purchasing those of the most agreeable kind. We had birds, goldfish, a fine dog, rabbits, a small monkey, and a cat. The cat was a remarkably large and beautiful animal, entirely black and friendly to an astonishing degree. In speaking of his intelligence, my wife, who at heart was not a little touched with superstition, made frequent references to the ancient popular notion which regarded all black cats as witches in disguise. Not that she was ever serious upon this point. So, have you guys ever heard that like black cats are bad luck? Like, so that's been around forever. Like that cats are supposed to be witches, black cats are bad luck. Apparently, his wife believes it, but women, they're just silly.
Mr. BroviCast?
Yep.
There's a movie with a black cat in it, and it's called Luck.
Pluto, that was the cat's name, was my favorite pet and playmate. I alone fed him, and he followed me wherever I went about the house. It was even with difficulty that I could prevent him from following me through the streets. Quick pause. Pluto is a reference to two things. Do you guys know what it references?
The dog from Mickey Mouse.
Yes, exactly.
Not the dog from Mickey Mouse, which didn't exist yet. Charlie?
Pluto is in the Norse mythology.
Close. Roman.
No, Roman.
Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
The god of death
Uh-huh.
and one of the planets.
And so that's the reference here, is that Pluto was the god of death, was considered all black because he lived in shadow, and that's why they named the planet after Pluto the god, because the planet was all black and they thought it was full of death. So Pluto, they named this black cat after the god of death because they think they're so funny. Hey.
I thought that was an astronomer or something too.
That's why I thought Pluto was a dwarf.
That's, Plato.
Oh.
Plato, and then you're correct. Pluto, different thing. These letters, they're so silly. Our friendship lasted in this manner for several years, during which my general attitude and character, through the effects of alcohol, had, I blush to confess it, experienced a radical alteration for the worse. I grew, day by day, more moody, more irritable, more regardless of the feelings of others. I suffered myself to use harsh language to my wife. At length, I even attacked her with personal violence. Story takes a turn. So it turns out he has a bad habit. His bad habit being? Alcohol. And apparently the alcohol makes him make bad kid choices. One of them being attacking his wife, which is definitely a bad kid thing. And then he also seems to yell and curse a lot, and apparently it is changing who he is.
No,
Rudy?
He was B points.
Did you want these B points?
No, but he was.
Oh, he would. I mean, if you have a wife, you're probably not in my class. That would probably not go together.
You have a wife and you're in your class?
You are, and I apologize for keeping you in here.
And you have a wife?
I am. I apologize for keeping me in here.
Wait.
I got married in.
But that dude with the tie that you had, he has a wife.
Yes, but he's also not in my class.
But he was in your
In
class.
past tense, he did not have a wife then.
We're from Moragan.
Audrey, I apologize for the special kiss. My pet, there's so many of them. Now you have to wait. My pets, of course, were made to feel the change in my personality. I not only neglected, but abused them. I know, it gets worse. For Pluto, however, I still retained enough thought to restrain me from mistreating him, as I made no hesitation of mistreating the rabbits, the monkey, or even the dog, when by accident or through their affection they got in my way. But my disease grew upon me, for what disease is like alcohol? And at length, even Pluto, who is now becoming old and consequently somewhat bad-tempered, even Pluto began to experience the effects of my bad temper. So he has started mistreating his pets. Here is where our story takes a turn.
Why is he not here?
One night, returning. So by the way, this whole beginning part was.
Exposition.
Now we're getting into.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. One night, returning home, quite intoxicated from one of my haunts about town, I thought that the cat avoided my presence. I seized him when, in his fright at my sudden attack, he inflicted a small wound upon my hand with his teeth. The fury of a demon instantly possessed me. I knew myself no longer. My original soul seemed at once to take its flight from my body, and a more than cruel wickedness, alcohol nurtured, filled every fiber of my body. I took from my waistcoat pocket a small knife, opened it, grasped the poor beast by the throat and deliberately cut one of its eyes from the socket. I blush, I burn, and I shudder while I pen this horrific crime. That's ultimate bad kid stuff. So we have Cat, and he comes home drunk, grabs the cat. How does the cat react? Yeah, as cats are going to do, and in his fury, takes out his knife and removes, I'm sorry, too soon, and removes one of the cat's eyes. Sorry, I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit because it's going to get real dark here in a moment. Yes, I imagine you did it in my room. I can't control what you do to us.
Is the story true?
Not for me. When my reason returned with the morning. Oh, by the way, you thought that was the bad part. By the way, what I just said, what's that an example of?
Foreshadowing.
Good job, Keeper. When my reason returned with the morning, when I had slept off the effects of the night's sins, I experienced an emotion, half of horror, half of remorse for the crime of which I had been guilty. But it was, at best, a weak and vague feeling, and my soul remained untouched. I again plunged into excessive drinking, and soon drowned in wine all memory of the frightening deed. Did he feel bad?
No.
Did it change his actions?
Nope.
No.
Just like my kids in class who go, I'm sorry, Mr. Brovic, I'll never do it again. Smack. And like, so there's a difference between saying you're sorry and doing the sorry. He says he's sorry, and then it's like, drinking's still fun, and he commits to it. In the meantime, the cat slowly recovered. The socket of the lost eye presented a frightful appearance, but he no longer appeared to suffer any pain. He went about the house as usual, but as might be expected, fled in extreme terror at my approach. I had so much of my old heart left as to be at first grieved by this evident dislike on the part of a creature which had once so loved me. But this feeling soon gave place to irritation, and then came the spirit of unreasonableness. I am not any more sure that my soul lives than I am that unreasonableness is one of the basic impulses of the human heart. Who has not 100 times found himself committing an evil or a silly action for no other reason than because he knows he should not do it? Have we not an unconscious need, despite our best judgment, to violate that which is the law merely because we know it to be wrong? That's important, and it's a lot of babble.
Foreshadowing.
The idea here is, have you ever done a thing that you know is wrong and you still did it anyway? And all of you are teenagers or close to it, so that I know the answer is yes, yes you have. When your parents say, don't sneak out tonight, and you go, meep, 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 meep. Or you go, hey, you need to make sure you get your homework done before you play video games, and you go, meep, 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 meep. All the many things that you know you're not supposed to do, and then you do the thing, and your parents go, why? And you go, he's like, according to him, that's part of human nature. Part of human nature is to do the bad things to find out what happens. Hopefully your bad thing is not his bad thing.
His bad thing is not as natural.
No.
Not okay.
His bad is never.
This spirit of unreasonableness, I say, came to my final overthrow. It was this deep longing of the soul to anger itself, to offer violence against itself, to do wrong for the wrong's sake only, that urged me to continue and finally to complete the injury I had inflicted upon the innocent beast. One morning, in cold blood, I slipped a noose around its neck and hung it from the limb of a tree. Hung it with tears streaming from my eyes and with remorse in my heart. Hung it because I knew that it had loved me and because I felt it had given me no reason or wrongdoing. Hung it because I knew that in so doing, I was committing a sin, a deadly sin that would so jeopardize my immortal soul as to place it, if such a thing were possible, even beyond the reach of the infinite mercy of the most merciful and most terrible God. He did big bad. Do you guys know what a noose is?
Yes, I do.
Wait, a what?
A noose?
Can I explain it?
How do you spell it?
It's right there in your story. Yes.
It's basically a thing that goes around your neck and then it makes you not move.
There you go. Noose. Wow. And so he created noose, and then what does he do with noose?
Hang him.
Sorry. Another scene coming up in a moment.
He
Pay no
puts
attention to
around
that.
the cat.
So, foreshadowing on accident. So, and why does he hang the cat? He knows it's bad, and he does it anyway, and the cat loved him, and he's like, sometimes you just have to do evil, hopefully just not this level of evil.
Rarely you find a cat that loves
kind of
you.
what you did to us?
Yeah.
Something like
You're
that.
gonna tie a noodle around my neck?
Maybe one day.
On the night of the day on which this cruel deed was done, I was aroused from sleep by the cry of fire. The curtains of my bed were in flames. The whole house was blazing. It was a great effort, it was with great difficulty that my wife, a servant, and myself made our escape from the inferno. The destruction was complete. My entire worldly wealth was swallowed up, and I resigned myself from then on to despair. So the same day he hangs the cat, what happens to his house? It burns down. But, gotta wait. But wait, there's more. See, the problem is you guys have hit your maximum. You already hit your 3, you've already hit your 12. So here's the part where I don't call on you as much. I know. No, that's 6, 7.
No, it's about something.
You still have to wait. I am above the weakness of seeking to establish a sequence of cause and effect, because this next part gets really weird. Between the disaster and the crime, I am just detailing a chain of facts, and wish not to leave even a possible link imperfect. On the day after the fire, I visited the ruins of my house. The walls, with one exception, had fallen in. This exception was found with a closet wall, not very thick, which stood about the middle of the house and against which had rested the head of my bed. The plaster had resisted the destruction of the fire, a fact which I attributed to its having been recently spread. Around this wall, a dense crowd of people was collected, and many of them seemed to be examining a particular portion of it with eager attention. The words strange, extraordinary, and other similar expressions grabbed my curiosity. I approached and saw, as if imprinted upon the white surface, the figure of a gigantic cat. The impression was done with an accuracy that was truly marvelous. There was even a rope around the animal's neck, almost. When I first beheld this ghostly sign, for I could scarcely regard it as less, my wonder and my terror were extreme. The cat, I finally remembered, had been hung in a garden adjacent to the house. Upon the alarm of fire, this garden had been immediately filled by the crowd of people, and someone must have cut the animal from the tree and thrown it through an open window into my bedroom. This had probably been done with the idea of waking me from sleep. The falling of other walls had smashed the victim of my cruelty into the substance of the freshly spread plaster, the chemicals of which, with the flames and the ammonia from the carcass, had then accomplished the image as I saw it. Adla.
Can I turn off the lights in the back?
Like the back there, to make it even spookier, but then I can't see the story to read it, and it gets
Well,
tougher.
not those.
I know, but you can do it, and I'll show you. It just doesn't give me enough light to read.
Which one?
Does that cost
closest to-
points?
the one closest to the door.
Then you can sit in your chair.
See?
But then you can sit. Then you can sit on the do not disturb area.
I guess we can try that. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
So, with story. Hi, Rudy.
That was irony.
Which part? Oh, we haven't taught irony yet, so I can't have it. You are correct. We have to wait till next week. We're going to come back to it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Nicely done, Rudy.
That's foreshadowing.
So, Here's what he's trying to tell us. According to him, he says he hung the cat outside in the garden, right outside his house. And then what happened to house?
Fire.
House burns down. Remember?
Whoa!
House burns down. Now with that, he comes back the next day, and there's something weird about the house. Did you catch what the weird thing about the house was?
Cat imprint. Cat.
So the idea is there's just this one wall where his bed was, that's right there in the middle of the house. The whole thing's burned to the ground, one wall. On this one wall is an impression of a cat smashed against it. Do you guys know what silly putty is?
Yeah.
Like, you can-
Yeah.
It's like this stuff that you can,
No.
silly putty, where you like smash into it and you can, like, it like absorbs pictures and stuff like that. It's an old-timey toy. But it's like this kind of thing. So he's saying it is smashed against the wall, but not only is there an outline of a cat above his bed, there's also a noose around the cat's neck. That's weird. But then he has a perfectly normal explanation for how it got there. Did you catch his perfectly normal
They threw the cat
explanation?
into the bedroom, and the stuff made the picture cat.
Why did they throw it into the bedroom?
To
Wake
wake
him
him
up.
up.
So his thought is, house is burning down. Everyone shows up and sees burning house. Someone goes, oh my God, there's people in there. We need to wake them up. How do we wake up those people? And some other person goes, look, a cat hanging from the tree. And they run over and grab the cat and they go, how can we use this cat on a rope to wake them? And they go, throw it at them. So they swing it above their head, fling it into the house, hoping that a cat flying to the house is enough to wake somebody, and then it smacks against the wall, and then just goes against the wall, and then everything melts except for the outline. And he goes, yep, that makes sense. And that's his perfect explanation for how the outline gets there. If your thought is, that's kind of weird, there's a reason. And that's the part we're going to get to. That was, we've now passed the worster part, except for one small bad worster part coming up.
Yay. Cool.
But now we get to find out more is going to happen. Although I had found a logical explanation for what I had seen, it did not fail to make a deep impression upon my imagination. For months, I could not rid myself of the specter of the cat. And during this period, there came back into my soul a half feeling that seemed close to, but was not quite, remorse. He's trying to feel bad, he's just not good at it. I went so far as to regret the loss of the animal and to look about me among the dreadful places which I now frequently visited for another pet of the same species and of somewhat similar appearance with which to replace it. What's he trying to find?
Black cat.
What kind of cat?
Black cat.
He's like, you know what I miss? A black cat. I should go find a new black cat. So now he's looking for a new black. Don't worry, it's all going to end perfectly fine.
The cat's in jungle.
Not foreshadowing? Boom!
One night, as I sat half stupefied in a local bar, my attention was suddenly drawn to some black object resting upon the head of one of the immense barrels of gin or rum, which was the main furniture of this place. So he's in a place where alcohol is the main furniture. What kind of place is it?
Bar.
Yeah. He's trying to play coy. He's like, I was hanging out in a place that had all these barrels of alcohol. I don't know what kind of place it. Yeah, you're in a bar, dude. So he's just like, it's just Brant. He's hanging out in the bar. I had been looking steadily at the top of this barrel for some time, and what now surprised me was the fact that I had not sooner noticed the object there. I approached it and touched it with my hand. It was a black cat, a very large one, nearly as large as Pluto, and closely resembling him in every aspect but one. Pluto had not a white hair upon any part of his body, but this cat had a large splotch of white, covering nearly the whole region of its chest. I think I have this. There's my cat.
Hi, cat.
And new black cat. Splotch. There we go. So now it has a big white splotch in the middle of it.
No, it's a suit.
Upon my touching him, he immediately arose, purred loudly, rubbed against my hand, and appeared delighted with my attention. This, then, was the very creature of which I was in search. I at once offered to purchase it off the bartender, but he made no claim to it, knew nothing of it, had never even seen it before. I continued to pet it, and when I prepared to go home, the animal seemed to want to follow me. I allowed it to do so, occasionally stooping and patting it as I went. When it reached the house, it made itself quite comfortable at once, and immediately became a great favorite with my wife. Good news! New cat! Everything's gonna go great from here.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
For my own part, I soon found a dislike. Sorry, it's the fact that it happens so quickly. For my own part, I soon found a dislike to it arising within me. The very next day, he's like, oh, I hate that cat. This was just the opposite of what I had anticipated. But I know not how or why it was, I became disgusted by his evident fondness of me. By slow degrees, his feelings of disgust and annoyance rose into the bitterness of hatred. I avoided the creature, a certain sense of shame and the remembrance of my former deed of cruelty preventing me from physically abusing it. I did not, for some weeks, strike or otherwise violently abuse it. But gradually, very gradually, I came to look upon it with unimaginable loathing and to flee silently from its revolting presence as from the breath of a plague. What added, no doubt, by the way, how does he feel about cat? And we are back to not liking the cat, but we've learned our lesson in theory. What added, no doubt, to my hatred of the beast was the discovery on the morning after I brought it home that, like Pluto, it had also lost one of its eyes. Hang on.
No! That was like me.
The circumstance, however, only endeared it to my wife, who possessed that feeling towards animals, which had once been my distinguishing trait, and the source of many of my simplest and purest pleasures. With my hatred for this cat, however, its attraction towards me seemed to increase. It followed my footsteps with an insistence that would be difficult to make the reader comprehend. Whenever I sat, it would crouch beneath my chair or spring upon my knees, covering me with its loathsome purring. If I rose to walk, it would get between my feet and thus nearly trip me up, or fastening its long and sharp claws in my clothes, climb in this manner to my chest. At such times, although I wanted to destroy it with a single blow, I was still stopped from doing so, partly by a memory of my former crime, but chiefly, let me confess it at once, by my absolute fright of the beast. Two quick things. One, how does the cat feel about him?
He likes it. He loves it.
And that would be an example, Rudy, of?
Foreshadowing.
No.
Irony.
Irony. The fact that he hates cat and cat loves him.
Wait,
Uh-huh.
what part of the story are we in?
We're still in Rising Action. Or maybe we got to Rising Action. Oh, trust me. We had a little climax when we had the whole cat death. It was like a little bumpity bump. But trust me, we have not gotten to climax yet. Because, very first paragraph, what do we know about this guy?
Edgar Allan.
Do we know why he's going to die yet?
Definitely
Stupid. I just
Exactly.
don't because
So we still have to find out why he's going to die. I have one too.
the cat. I think I know. They throw him into the.
The cat throws him into the fun.
I think he's gonna slowly develop into
Yeah.
killing the cat.
This dread was not exact. Alyssa?
Kate thinks that Edgar Allan Poe should maybe go to the sing this song.
Well, he would, but he's dead, and they don't usually take you once you're dead. They have issues with that. Yes.
So I think I know what's gonna happen because there's gonna be a fire, and they're gonna throw the person into there. He's gonna splatter on the wall, and the cat's gonna throw the person in there, and then
Totally makes
he's gonna
sense.
die like that.
This, yes, Sammy? You have over 40 points? This dread was not exactly a dread of physical evil, and yet I should be at a loss how otherwise to define it. I am almost ashamed to own, yes, even in, here's your hint, even in my current felon's cell, I am still ashamed to own that so where is he right now?
He's in jail.
That the terror and horror with which the animal inspired me has been heightened to a level it would be almost impossible to think of. So his fear of this cat is almost impossible. It is such a high level that he is afraid of it. And we haven't even gotten to why, because that's getting ready to come up now.
But he's in jail.
My wife had called my attention more than once to the shape of the mark of white hair, and which was the only visible difference between the strange beast and the one I had destroyed. The reader will remember that the mark, although large, had been originally quite indefinite, but by slow degrees nearly unnoticeable, and which for a long time my brain struggled to reject as simply imagination, its outline had taken on a more definite shape. It was now the depiction of an object that I shudder to name. And for this above all, I loathed, dreaded, would have rid myself of the monster had I dared. It was now, I say, the image of a hideous, of a ghastly thing, of the gallows. Oh, mournful and terrible engine of horror and of crime, of agony and of death. Wow. Now, if you don't know what a gallows is, that doesn't have nearly as much meaning. You guys all know what a gallows is because there's a kids game you all play where you use a gallows.
Is it the, oh wait, I know what it is.
Yes?
Is it the pie face game?
Not the pie face.
What is it? I was close.
What is that?
Knives?
Oh,
Have you never played
Hangman!
Have you never?
Hangman, where you have to guess the letters?
Hang the
And
man.
there's a reason why it's called Hangman, is because you hang a man. So apparently, this, the white spot, is no longer looking like a white spot. It's now looking like that. Why would this haunt him?
Because he hung the cat.
Because he hung the cat. Now this oh, sorry. Gotta get rid of all the eyes. Sorry, too soon. And now all of a sudden, the cat's white is.
Irony.
Wait, it looks like a
Wait,
two.
they're gonna take his eye.
Foreshadowing. He's gonna get hung by the cat.
Sorry, I can't hear you. There's a lot of noise in this area right here.
Why does it look like a 2 or a 1?
Because that's what it looks like.
Oh, it's just a 1?
Where's the
Sure. Uh-huh.
It's a 1 with
A 7?
Beneath the pressure of torments such as these, the frail remains of the good that was within me gave way. So he's saying whatever goodness was still in him is now gone. He is now fully giving in to the crazy.
Oh, he's a demon.
Evil thoughts became my only comforts. The darkest and most evil of thoughts, the moodiness of my usual attitude increased into a hatred of all living things and of all mankind. And my uncomplaining wife was the most usual and the most patient of sufferers of these outbursts. One day, here's our climax. She accompanied me upon some household errand into the basement of the old building which our poverty forced us to live in. The cat followed me down the steep stairs and nearly tripping me, infuriated me into madness, lifting a nearby axe and forgetting in my wrath the childish dread which had so far stopped me. I aimed a blow at that animal, which of course would have proved instantly fatal had it gone as I wished. But this blow was stopped by the hand of my wife. Aggravated by the interference into a blinding rage, I withdrew my arm from her grasp and buried the axe in her brain. She fell dead upon the spot without even a groan.
That sounds like Mr. Bobby, that sounds like Patrick.
Mr. Boviak, I get charged 3 points for
That's
that.
what I'm gonna use.
No.
He didn't murder me.
We're not done. There's still more.
Yes!
The heinous murder accomplished. By the way, y'all cheering this or something? You guys need some therapy? I set about the task of concealing them, because that's what you do. You kill your wife, you gotta hide the body. The task of concealing the body. I knew that I could not remove it from the house. No. Either by day or by night without the risk of being seen by the neighbors. Many ideas entered my mind. At one period, I thought of cutting the corpse into tiny pieces and destroying them by fire. And another, I resolved to dig a grave for it in the floor of the basement. Then, I hit upon what I considered a far better method. I determined to wall it up in the cellar, as the monks of the Middle Ages are thought to have walled up their victims. For a purpose such as this, the basement was well tailored. Its walls were loosely constructed and had lately been plastered throughout with a rough plaster, which the constant dampness of the basement had prevented from hardening. Moreover, in one of the walls was a hollow area caused by a false chimney or fireplace that had been filled up and made to resemble the rest of the basement. I made no doubt that I could readily remove the bricks in this part, insert her corpse, and wall the whole up as before, so that no eye could detect anything suspicious. So his plan, instead of burying his wife under the ground, he's just going to put her into the wall and then recover the wall. Thus she disappears and no one has any idea, and he gets away with it forever and ever.
No, but
Unfortunately, the bell rings in 20 seconds, so I'm going to pause. We will finish, and we're back. Okay.
I gave.
Listen, we got to the one day accompanied me for the purpose, basement is still here. We are backside, second column, where it says, and in this calculation, I was not wrong. Whoa! And in this calculation, I was not wrong. With a crowbar, I easily dislodged.
Is it gonna show a crowbar?
What did you just do?
It's a baseball.
Baseball.
I easily dislodged the bricks, and having carefully placed the body against the inner wall, I propped it in that position. While, with
Mr.
little...
Bobby, I was trying to hit
I wasn't.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I saw it too.
It's on camera.
She was just giving on camera.
Giving him air. It's like this.
I'm trying
No,
to...
she's like,
My hand slipped and I pencil fell and popped it.
no. She popped her own bag and started trying to hit Liam.
Bro, yeah, I want to hear the story.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
fine. The kid that just likes to keep talking just keeps spinning points.
No, I was talking about Mario.
I know, it wasn't even his thing, and he was across the room trying to get involved.
Oh.
I propped it in that position, while with little trouble, I relayed the bricks and wall as it had originally stood. Having bought mortar, sand, and hair, I prepared a new plaster, which could not be distinguished from the old. And with this, I very carefully went over my fresh brickwork. When I had finished, I felt sure that it was perfect. The wall did not have the slightest appearance of having been broken. The rubbish on the floor was picked up with care. I looked around triumphantly and said to myself, here at least then my work has not been in vain. My next step was to look for the beast which had been the cause of so much misery, for I had at length firmly resolved to put it to death. Now, had I been able to meet with it at that moment, there could have been little doubt of its fate. But it appeared that the crafty animal had been alarmed at the violence of my previous anger and had decided to hide because of my present mood. It is impossible to describe the deep and blissful sense of relief which the absence of the detested creature created in me. It did not come out again that night. And thus, for one night at least, since its introduction into the house, I soundly and calmly slept Yes, I slept, even with the burden of murder upon my soul. So he couldn't sleep, finally kills his wife, gets rid of the cat, and now he finally has a good night's sleep and everything is happy. Wait. The second and the third day passed, and still my tormentor did not come. Once again, I breathed as a free man. The monster, in terror, had fled the house forever. I should behold it no more. My happiness was supreme. The guilt of my dark deed disturbed me very little. Some investigation into my wife's disappearance had been made, but these had been readily answered. Even a search for her had occurred, but of course, nothing was to be discovered. I looked upon my future freedom as entirely secure. Upon the fourth day of the assassination, the police came, very unexpectedly, into the house, and again made a thorough investigation of the house. I see you. I'm ignoring you because you've talked to me times already. I felt safe, however, in knowing they would never discover my place of concealment. The officers asked me to accompany them in their search. They left no nook or corner unexplored, even the basement. The police were thoroughly satisfied and prepared to leave. The excitement in my heart was too strong to be restrained. I burned to say but one word so that I could secretly gloat and yet also convince them of my guiltlessness. Gentlemen, I said at last, as the cops climbed the steps. All right, so there we have girl in the wall, and now he's in the basement with the police officers. Gentlemen, I said at last. He actually has a cane in his hand, we're going to see. As the cops climb the steps, I am happy to have dispelled your suspicions. I wish you all good health. By the by, gentlemen, this is a very well-constructed house.
No.
In the rapid desire to say something easily, I scarcely knew what I thought said uttered at all. I may say an excellently constructed house. These walls... Are you going already, gentlemen? These walls are solidly put together. And here, through the mere act of daring, I knocked heavily with a cane, which I held in my hand, upon that very portion of the brickwork behind which stood the corpse of my wife. Actually, more like this. It's kind of hollow on the other side. But may God shield and deliver me from the fangs of the evil beast. No sooner had the echoes of my blows sunk into silence than I was answered by a voice from within the tomb, by a cry at first muffled and broken, like the sobbing of a child, and then quickly swelling into one long, loud, continuous scream, utterly abnormal and inhuman, a howl, a wailing shriek, half of horror, half of triumph, such as might have arisen only out of a nightmare, conjointly from the throats of the cursed in their agony, and of the demons that exult in their eternal torture. He knocked on the wall, and what happens?
It fell down.
Dang it. Screaming from the other side. As he knocks on the wall and is like, are you guys leaving already? This house is great. Look at this. And all of a sudden, from the other side of the wall, you're screaming. As to my own thoughts, it is silly to speak of them. Swooning, I staggered to the opposite wall. For one instant, the policemen upon the stairs remained motionless, frozen by their terror and awe. In the next, a dozen strong arms were tearing at the wall. It fell quickly. The corpse, already greatly decayed and clotted with gore, stood erect before the eyes of the crowd. Upon the corpse's head, with its gaping red mouth and solitary eye of fire, sat the hideous beast whose axe had seduced me into murder, and whose powerful voice will send me to the hangman. I had walled the monster up within the tomb. And that's where it stops. So it turns out
So the cat was a genius.
the cat was in there with the wife the entire time. And if you want something really disturbing, how many days had it been?
4.
How did the cat stay alive?
8 the goals.
6, 7.
Oh my god.
Told ya.
Oh my god.
So so at the end, when he says he's telling you the story from jail, why is he in jail? And for the whole killing his wife thing.
Because he tried to.
Kid who's slowly learning his questions and doing that how many times he gets to talk. What's up?
So, I have 2 things.
Yeah.
First, doesn't the cat doesn't it have to have the white patch and the one eye? Whoa.
Oh, I didn't take it out. I did not remove one eye on there. Yes.
And also, how many blueprints have I gained lost?
I'll find out at the end. Gabe.
Would the boring end stuff, would that be them being in jail or them finding the body in the wall?
The finding the body in the wall. This one does not end as boring as most of them do, because I was assuming finding the body in the wall would be kind of freaking you out, but that would technically be your resolution. Yes.
Why would he, if he's like dumb, why would he
Knock on the wall.
knock on the wall? Like,
Remember the
that's
earlier
stupid.
part where sometimes people do dumb things just for the joy of being dumb? He is so cocky thinking he got away with it, and the fact that there's no way he's going to get caught. He's like the idea of being able to taunt somebody and be like, "You're leaving? Look how nice this house is." And he knows the body's on the other side of it. It's like that whole little and that's why he knocks on it thinking, like, you're not expecting that all of a sudden the cat's going to start screaming on the other side. You figure you can knock on it and get away with it. Turns out the cat had other plans. You know how those cats are. Clayton.
Wait, was it the cat that was screaming, or was it like the?
The what?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what he finishes too.
Dead body.
You go ahead and you figure out what else could be in there. I'm wondering the same thing.
A rat.
So, foreshadowing clues to help you in the story. Tells the reader that he will die tomorrow. How does that help us out?
He'll die.
Why is he gonna die? We know it's foreshadowing. It says it right there. Why is he gonna die?
Foreshadowing.
Because he's in prison.
That's the whole him being in prison. So that's why, even though the very first thing we find out about him is the fact that he's telling you this from prison, we don't find out until the very end. Naming the cat Pluto. That was also foreshadowing. What does Pluto mean?
Death. God of
The god of death. Boom. So there becomes our connection. Another one of those little things you don't necessarily connect at the very beginning. Wife thinks black cats might be witches.
She's right.
How so?
Because the black cat
Came back to life.
And we don't know for sure if it was the same cat or what's going on, but it certainly seemed like some kind of weird possessed thing. It's also why at the very beginning he's like, I don't know if this is supernatural. All I can tell you is what happened. I think it's crazy, but this is what happened to me. And then he tells us that he speaks from his felon cell. What's that telling you again?
Prison.
Again, that he's in prison. The cat's white spot turns into a gallows.
He's gonna die by hanging.
So he thought it was because of what he did to the cat. It wasn't because of what he did to the cat.
It's because he's going to die like that.
That's what I said.
He's going to die by
I
getting
just
hung.
predicted
So it turns out the cat was foreshadowing his fate instead.
that. Wait, how do we know he'll be hung though?
Rudy,
Because
did you have something else?
I was gonna ask what actually happened with the cat when it like splatted against the wall.
I don't know. That is a good question.
I
That's
think
where in
we-
their story there's no way to really know. Maybe that was the magic witchy cat coming back. Maybe it was someone trying to wake him up. I don't know. To go through, you don't have to have this, but since it's on the quiz, I thought I'd run through it just to make sure you know the information to try to help you. Character-wise, I would say we have 3 characters. Who's your main character?
Guy.
Do we know his name?
Dude.
Edgar.
Yeah, I don't know his name either.
Edgar.
So I'm just going to call him Dude or Speaker. It is not Edgar. Edgar is the author. So it's just going to be a random speaker
Well,
or
his name
dude.
could be Edgar.
Second most important one,
But I didn't say it. The cat.
the wife.
I would go for the
Oh,
wife.
Ah.
And then the third most
The
important
cat.
is Ash when the cat comes in. How would you
Which
describe...
Which cat?
Same one.
Who says it's not the same cat?
Mirage.
And
Oh, what?
Speaker, How would you describe the speaker in a way that does not apply to anyone else?
Psychopath.
Oh.
Cooking?
Murderous.
That would work.
Murderer.
Might work for the cat though too.
But he didn't kill anybody. He ate somebody that
No,
was
he did.
already dead.
He basically
The
killed
fact that it might be causing, I'd still go with murderous. I think that would probably work. I don't think the cat, that works for me. Tegan?
Not very smart.
Why?
Because he's not very smart.
Well, wouldn't that apply to his wife that stayed with him?
Wouldn't that apply to the wife?
But no.
She caught the ass.
Because he's dumber.
Yes, Charlie?
That you could say he's insane.
Yeah, he even goes through and says he's insane. I would count that too.
Wait.
Colton?
imposter.
How so?
Because the imposter kills people and he killed the wife and the little kitty.
I went for animal-loving alcoholic, but
I
same
like
idea.
imposter.
How about for wife? How would we describe that character then? Rudy?
Savior.
How so?
Because she saved the cat.
Alright, I'd go with that. She does save the cat. Nice enough. Kiefer?
Perseverance.
How so?
Because she stayed with him even though he murdered.
I would stay with that one. Miss Spar?
May I see rosters?
Of my class? Yes. If you flip all, yeah, you'll see little numbers on there. You might want to find the one that says period 6, or you need period 1.
I got what I need.
Alright, I'm good with that too.
Wait.
And then...
Wait, I won.
What do you have?
She's stupid. Well, she's stupid. She's a stupid cat saver. Because she caught the axe.
Did you say stupid cat tamer?
Stupid cat saver.
Saver. So we're going off of that saver, and we're just going, and now you're adding in the... Yeah,
Stupid.
saving cats is dumb.
No, it's because she caught the axe head.
Gotcha.
That's pretty stupid.
She caught it with her head. It was a good catch.
Oh, wow.
And how would you describe Black Cat?
Literally.
Why scary?
Because they, the cat does, the cat does, things that make him scared.
But he's scary. But, like, I'd be scared of the model.
I know. Charlie?
One-eyed.
Well, that would definitely not apply to anybody else. That would work. Colton?
A witch.
I put baby magic. Works for me too.
But the humans are animals, because humans are animals, so
They're
that's
mammals.
wrong. But the cat is a mammal.
But
Did they have
either one of them
magic?
gonna be magic?
Yes. No, you don't know.
Yeah, but you don't know, maybe the
They're both magically alive.
Maybe the cat doesn't even have magic though.
For our setting, for the win on this one, do you have any guesses that you can tell me?
Oh.
1800.
Okay.
In Edgar Allan Poe's day, like
Well, you know, back then they also wrote futuristic stories too.
oh,
So you have to give me evidence from the story. You can't just say because that's when he lived.
because they did public executions, and also they have bars with like barrels and stuff in that.
That would work a little bit better. That I would think is a better answer.
Who says
Rudy?
bars don't have barrels
like
anymore?
maybe 1600s, because they're still talking about witches, and then they were talking about like not very far in the past. They were talking about how like the Egyptians worship the cats and like talking about the monks and everything.
All right, I can roll with that. Let's see. I went for nighttime and long time ago, which works for me. Ooh.
Wait, but it's not all night.
But we know it does take place during a nighttime at one point, because that's when he
One
buries his
told the
wife.
story, but not the whole.
No, not the whole story. I didn't say the whole story, but you can say it does take place at night in one part of the story.
Or you could say house.
That would work too. For the where, I would say house.
Wait.
Where else?
Outside.
The bar.
The garden.
The bar. Boom.
The garden.
The garden.
Prison.
The prison.
The
I would take all of those.
basement.
House. Basement.
Buckingham
I put the
Palace.
jail.
Ooh, we got them all.
Buckingham
House.
Palace, guys.
Wait, what about
Wait,
the bar?
wait,
We'll
7.
come back to it.
Okay.
For the speaker, what decision does he have to make?
Oh.
I don't know. So many decisions to be made on that one. Yeah?
Me.
Cool.
Kill the cat or keep living with fear of the cat.
Oh,
Not bad. We can take that. Can you hang a poster in here? That's fine.
I will fart.
Rudy?
what are you running for?
Kill his wife
Uh-huh.
or kill the cat.
That would work too.
Or both.
Wait.
Clayton?
Learn from your mistakes or keep drinking.
I went for kill the cat or Ignores creepiness. Not bad.
Joe Gabe.
How about the wife? What decision does she make?
Stay with him or leave him.
That would work too.
Yeah.
Well, not bad. For our external conflict, this one should be big and obvious on this one. What two things were fighting each other?
Axe in the woman's head.
Throughout most of the story, what's fighting each other?
The cat.
And how do you do it correctly?
You kill the axe.
There you go.
Wait, you can
Kill with the axe.
There you go, because of the cat. Hi,
you
gay.
say man versus the law because he was killing people. That's legal.
I mean, he only killed one person.
He
but
killed
yes.
No, we
he killed 3.
It is,
Yeah,
but it's not a person.
illegal. Yes,
I'm
it
not
is.
justifying the cat death. I'm just saying it's not a person.
It was 2 words.
Keeper,
He got some Play-Doh on the chair.
No, I was doing this and it flew
I
off.
was watching.
Oh my god!
Rudy,
You could do
How many people?
Another person.
you could do
Tabby.
He's gonna be a yes.
he literally just did
He's just
Can we? No, we're not putting one in here. We're putting one on the door.
Okay, that's fine too.
Wait, what is it? I don't know.
Hi, Rudy again.
speaker versus his addiction.
Oh, I would definitely count that one too. Nice one.
Steve versus what?
His addiction.
What's wrong with Will?
Drinking and
Because of the whole alcoholism. Point of view. What'd you say it was? There you go.
That's what we call fart.
And for the theme, I went for the poor choices thing because he keeps committing to the whole idea of going down the path of alcoholism.
Wait,
Poor choices.
don't over.
I mean,
like karma.
technically it does work for the wife too, because what was her poor choice?
Save the cat.
Protecting the cat.
That's not a poor choice, that's a good choice.
But then
she
she got
died.
died.
Yeah, so what poor choice did she make?
Beat the man.
There you go.
Wait, what?
I would think saving the cat was her one good choice that backfired.
And
Staying with the alcoholic crazy guy, that might be where the poor
That's
choice
kind of
is.
sus, bro.
There you go.
Wait, was her portrait not moving though?
See?
Because she could have moved.
No,
It
it was
feels like
staying.
victim shaming.
The axe
Okay.
is not unavoidable.
If she moved faster, she wouldn't be dead.
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
She could have like
Can the theme be don't drink too much alcohol and kill your cats?
I would shorten that to just the alcoholism, and then yes.
So
Because I don't think the whole thing's going to apply to very many
The
stories.
theme is alcoholism.
You could do like bad habits would work too.
Don't kill cats.
So wait, don't drink too much alcohol or else
you'll kill your
magical stuff will happen. Because maybe it wasn't even magic. He just wasn't fully aware because he was under the influence.
So, our last one for the plot. This is where we have our, what is the beginning part called?
The exposition.
Then,
Calling
Action.
then, and
Following action.
And
Resolution.
so here's your 5. We're gonna see which ones you guys vote on.
Yeah.
Figuring out exposition first. In a fit of anger, he attacks his wife with an axe. We discover the cat was in the wall the whole time. Speaker is an animal lover who is also an alcoholic. He buries his wife in the wall in order to hide her body. Speaker starts attacking the and suffering from the. Should be starts attacking the cat and suffering from those choices. I'm sorry, I left a word out. That's embarrassing.
Attacking the.
So you're going for your.
Why are they attacking me?
Uh-huh. Huh? No. Alright. After exposition is.
Rising action.
Rising action.
Huh? I would agree. After rising action is.
Following it up. By the way, the fact that I just pointed to him killing his wife and you guys all went woo might be a little on the disturbing side. Just letting you know. After climax is. Following
action.
The last one is. Well done.
Mr. Roman.
That was a long video.